Now you should have already watched the muscle testing video and had your checklist identified and tested weak on virtually all the things on your checklist. Now we're going to talk about the foundation video, which gives you the foundation for the clearing process. You need to understand how things were created for you, the problems, so to speak. So it's kind of like, how does your mind work? This is from an indigenous perspective. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So from an indigenous perspective, of course, when you think about how your mind works, when you try to identify the issues that you have, how do you know you have a problem? It's real easy, and you've already gone through that, right? So first thing is that you can feel it. Everybody knows that one. The next one that you can use is muscle testing, and you know that one too. There's a third one, which we call going into the memories. You actually go into the memories before you clear it. You should be able to feel the negative emotions that are there. And then after the clearing, you should be able to go in and the memories should be neutral. That's how you know. We don't really have enough time to teach that in this lesson, but there will be follow-on videos to show you how to do that process. However, when we do the clearing a little later on with somebody that we haven't worked with before, she's going to use that process, going into the memories before and then going in after. So you'll be able to see that. So one of the things we'd like you to do is teach you how to be in the optimum state for living, or be in an optimum state for just flowing through life. And it's based on indigenous value. When you think about who you are, do you come from an indigenous culture? Think about it. Some of you might say yes, some of you might say no. But let me tell you, we all come from an indigenous culture. We all come from an indigenous culture. If you say no, keep going back in your lineage, you'll hit indigenous eventually. So how do indigenous people view the world, view the planet? Tunnel vision or big picture? Clearly big picture. But it's not a metaphor. It's a physical, physiological reality. If you go back far enough, this is what we had to do to survive. We were hunting a lot and being hunted at the same time. Yeah? So we had this expanded awareness, or Hakalau, peripheral vision expanded awareness. We talked about this a little earlier. And we're going to give you a few more examples on how to use it now. And if you have an emotional reaction or response during this program, this is what you use to get out of that emotional or negative emotional response. So the easiest way is to put your hands up like this, and you're looking at your two thumbs, and then move your eyes up without moving your head. You don't have to go like this, but just move your eyes up to where if you're in a room, you can see the ceiling on the other side. And then keep your eyes there, and you can still see your fingers. Of course, they're out of focus. You might not be able to see your thumbnail anymore, but you can see your fingers. You move them, you can see them move. And then be able to have an awareness of the ceiling, the walls, and the floor. 360 degrees. Basically, it's peripheral vision, as we talked about earlier, Hakalau. So as you go out like this, be able to still see your fingers. Of course, they'll be blurry, and they're not in focus. And then make them even disappear. Go back to where they disappear, and then come back in. Shake them, see your fingers moving on this side, and the wall on that side, beyond your fingers, this side, the wall on that side. Extreme peripheral vision, or Hakalau. And then put your hands down. So can you have this peripheral vision expanded awareness Hakalau without having your fingers or hands moving around? Absolutely. However, it's a really good way to practice. The key is when you're in peripheral vision expanded awareness or Hakalau, you cannot hold a negative thought. You cannot hold a negative thought. Think about that. And let's prove it one way or another. So what we want you to do is take a nice deep breath and think about a negative memory or a thought, negative thought that has negative emotions around it. And sometimes you might go, Kanoa, in listening to all the stuff that you said so far, I can't really think of a negative thought. If that's the case, just think about how the Sandy Hook parents felt when their 5 and 6-year-olds got murdered. You know, the 5 and 6-year-olds. Or think about something traumatic that happened in you. Think about it, and then this is how you do it. I'm going to close my eyes, I'll think about the memory, and then once I can feel the emotion, then I'll open my eyes, put my thumbs out like this. I can see my thumbs, and then I'll move my eyes up to where I'm looking at the ceiling. If I'm on the outside, I can see the clouds or the sky above. And then the walls on both sides, or the trees. And then as I move my thumbs out, I can still see my thumbs move all the way back, out of vision, and then come back, shake them. And then there's only 2 things that can happen. The emotions, the negative emotions, either disappear or you can still feel them. If they disappear, put your hands down. If you can still feel them, raise your hand. Like that. So go ahead. And of course, some of you, I should say, the emotions disappeared. For most of you anyway. Your hands went down. Excellent. Some of you, well, it got less, but I can still feel that. So for you, this is what we want you to do. Because we want you to know absolutely that this works. So I'm going to have to check with my camera guy. So can you see my finger here? And then when I go like this, is it out of view? Okay. Out of view. So almost, right? Almost, right? Okay. So when it goes, what I want you to do in the screen, look at my finger, right? And follow my finger all the way up, all the way down. So up, down, up, down, up. So were you able to hold on to that negative emotion or negative thought? You're not able to hold on to any thought. And the reason is because where you position your eyes is where you access your brain. We'll cover that in a moment. But for right now, all the emotions should have dissipated and disappeared. The way you do that for yourself is you can, what I did for you here, you can go like this, follow. Can't hold on to any thought. So if you're in a funk or you got just thoughts going in, I could be in high school and I got a big game going on. I'm going to go cheerlead, or I just had some trouble with home, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my wife, my husband, my whatever, and I just want to clear my mind. So this is what you do. Let's say you're in a classroom and you want to just be ready for what's here, and you're thinking about the game and all this stuff. You want to clear your mind and be present so I can learn what the teacher's teaching. Go like this. Now remember, you're one of a class of 30. So what I want you to do is just reach up into the heavens and just say, okay, I'm going to pull all these distracting thoughts right in here and ground myself into this classroom. Reach up and just... And if you know anything about grounding or being present, you can even go into the ground a little bit and then come back up and then go like this. And then go like this and go. And then, now if your classmates don't start making room for you, I'd be surprised. And if the teacher didn't say something, I'd be even more surprised. So, however, how do you feel? You should have clarity of thought for sure. You just cleared your mind. That's option A, and you should practice that at home and obviously not in the classroom among other people. However, you can do the exact same thing. The exact same thing in your mind. In your mind's eye. So this is what you do. And you don't do it like this. Close your eyes and move. Put your head down and in your mind's eye, reach up and pull all those distracting thoughts down into my body. Go right down into the ground. I want to ground here in this classroom. And then come back up. And then move my eyes around. Up, down, round and round. Up, down, left, right. And then Open my eyes and see the walls on both sides, including the ceiling and the floor. Focusing on the teacher if she's or he's the one that's presenting the lesson. Option B works well in public. Good.